Hello, good evening, good morning, and good lunch, wherever you are. I'm sure you're very full now after an amazing state of play. My name is David Jackson. You're watching PlayStation Access, the official PlayStation Access State of Play After Party, where we're going to be talking about everything we have just seen. I've got hastily scribbled notes from the PlayStation State of Play, which hopefully you have also just seen. We're going to be dissecting what we can and trying to keep Rosie under control. I am joined by Rosie, of course, my fellow PlayStation Access host. And not yet, Rosie. We'll find a time.
The sofa is vibrating.
Yes.
Can you feel this?
You're ruining Amy's introduction. And our friend and colleague Amy, Rob is away on secret business. It's not that secret. But what is that? Yeah, can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear like a repeat.
What's coming? Is it?
I think it's this tablet.
Unbelievable.
Rosie hasn't muted us.
Our way of reading the chat.
Usually we have a laptop.
Oh, I see. All I'm hearing is excuses.
I was just like, what is that?
Rosie, please. We're introducing Amy. Rob is off on secret business, so we've invited our friend, colleague, and all-round massive PlayStation fan. I mean, you've come dressed for the part.
We've actually come matching, haven't we?
Yeah, we've come.
Yeah.
We've come.
It's a bit awkward,
cute.
really. We didn't really.
I love you say awkward. I say cute.
Yeah.
Well, it's very cute for you, but it's awkward for me.
Yeah.
Because
someone didn't get the memo.
I'm just wearing a black T-shirt. This is awful. But enough about us. I really want to talk about State of Play, and I really want to talk about Astrobot. But we're going to go. Rosie, please. We're going to go in chronological order and talk about a really fantastic State of Play that had loads of amazing surprises. Yes, Astrobot, and oh my God, I'm so excited to get there.
Same.
But we started incredibly strong as well with a whole new studio to the PlayStation Studios family, which is always lovely, in Firewalk and Concord, which we first saw a bit of, I think, at the PlayStation Showcase this time last year, maybe. And it was interesting because they had one of those kind of... I learned a new word tonight. It was vignette.
Vignette.
Last
you know
year,
what vignette means, David.
I thought it was just like a darker bit of a edit, with like a dark circle around it doesn't matter. I got it wrong. And
I used to think it was something you put on a salad, but I think that's a vinaigrette.
That's a vinaigrette.
Close.
We all learned something. And they kind of showed it off last year with a kind of slightly, mysterious world-building video. And today went straight in with I thought an amazing vignette.
Phenomenal.
Like, next level good. Like, I actually wrote down just... Because, it's not new for games to have kind of CG trailers and things like that kind of set the scene, introduce the characters. We're all very used to seeing those. I found this to be the best one I've ever seen. I thought the characterization was incredible. The dialogue was incredible. The action, it was like a little short movie.
The voice acting was phenomenal, wasn't it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah, really,
and like
strong.
the interplay between the characters was absolutely brilliant. I think we all... couldn't help but draw, a little bit of comparison with Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like,
big Guardians of the Galaxy vibes,
which I loved. I mean, and that is a huge compliment because it speaks to this like great sense of character and fun, and the dialogue really snappy. And I thought that was very interesting ahead of the gameplay, which we then got to see and find out what Concord is at last.
Yeah,
and it is a 5v5 first-person shooter.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I just say I'm reading comments at the moment in the chat. Hello, everyone.
You've managed to mute the tablet. That's good.
I muted it. But Ash Millman is in the chat.
Okay.
And she says, "Great vignette as the main note is popping me."
Excellent. Thank you. That is the big takeaway.
First note, that vignette.
It was Astrobot, then amazing vignette. Get it in the right order. We're coming to Astrobot, but first vignette. And yeah, it's a 5v5 first-person shooter.
Yep.
With amazing characters.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you each who your favourite character was. Don't worry, I don't need names because I don't think we got everyone's names.
Yeah.
I will tell you, though, I got my character's name because I knew I was going to ask this question.
Don't have the same one as me,
It's
please.
one off. The
robot
big
guy.
Hoover robot.
That's the only name I remember.
I know, but now you have to pick another one.
I don't
Slightly posh and whimsical as well. I liked him a lot.
You could describe him. Also, I recently bought a new Hoover, and I'm jealous of that sucking power and blowing power, which Hoovers these days don't have anymore. They don't seem to suck and blow.
They really don't know.
But the thing that they talked about, which I really picked up on, was the asymmetry.
Yes.
That's what got me excited about this game,
Yep.
because it seemed like putting together, they've got a whole cast of different characters with different
free
characteristics.
gunners, did they call them? Yeah.
Yeah, I think free runners.
Is it free runners?
Well,
or
I
free
thought
gunners?
I wasn't sure. It was free gunners. You're absolutely right. I'm completely wrong. It makes so much more sense. Although they were doing some running, and I think that the asymmetry of putting like a whole big cast of characters with lots of different skills.
Yes.
Putting those together in different ways.
Yeah.
Is going to be so much fun, and
Massively.
finding your specialism.
Yeah, and I think actually one of the devs that they interviewed actually on that segment did say there's a lot of inspiration from fighting game rosters.
Yeah.
And I love that because I feel like that's going to give us the versatility to play with.
It was like their first point, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't really see that coming. And I think having the personality of the vignettes and actually like the story-driven character stuff is going to add a real flair to like a 5v5 kind of asymmetric shooter.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we've seen many things like that have that much personality.
No.
And that much wit.
And that's what I was going to say, actually. It's really interesting because I thought, we saw this opening vignette, I'm going to say it 18 times, and thought, oh, that's nice. That introduces the characters.
Yeah.
But then a big thing that they said was every week.
Yeah.
Every
new
week
one.
when you log in,
Yeah.
there's going to be a new vignette.
Yeah.
And like, I found that so exciting
Yeah,
because the quality, obviously, of what we saw was incredible. But also, I think, that is what I want from these games with these big characters that are clearly so like larger than life. Like finding out about them and their relationships to me seemed really, really exciting.
Yeah, massively.
Rosie, you're a massive fighting game fan.
I am.
Like,
yes.
how do you pick a character? How will you approach picking a character in Concord, do you think?
I guess for me, it will be depending on like their stats. I mean, whenever I do, I don't know. I think with this one, rather than treat it as a fighter, I'd probably treat it more as kind of like a Souls kind of build. So I usually tend to go for a strength or something. But I'm also aware that with these types of games, I'm not as advanced as other players can be. You've seen me all playing Call of Duty and other similar games like that, and you're always the one, Dave, who's like carrying me, and I'm just there having a good time.
I would disagree, Rosie, but yes, carry
So
on.
I would probably, for this style of game, I would probably be maybe more of like either the one that can take some bullets and do heavy hitters, or like a sniper type of like far
The
distance
sniper
role.
girl looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
She did look
so
cool.
I'd probably go for one of those two, I think.
Yeah.
But then again, sometimes you feel like spicing it up as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you want to go for the super speedy action. Sometimes you just want a good average, general all-rounder. So, but I think for me, I would love to say the robot. I would love to say it.
Dave got in there first
But
with
the
Hoover
thing
Boy.
is, the thing is, though, I probably will pick the robot anyway. But if we're in a team, you said their name first, so you could be the robot, and I'll probably be maybe the guy who's got like the back shield
No,
thing.
see, Starchild was going to be my guy.
Oh, no.
in real life, I'm just a little 5'5", like tiny little lady, and I always play as the big beefy boy.
Yeah.
I just my fantasy. I can't even reach my own extractor fan in my flat.
Right.
So the thought of being a man who has like crystallized skin on his back.
Yes.
Oh.
I thought that was a nice moment as well in the vignette. I said it again.
Yeah.
Well, it was a nice moment, a good bit of character there. He came across well. Although it was nice to see someone who respects hot sauce as much as me.
Yes.
So I'm excited about
Alex
that.
in the chat has been raving about the guy with the hot sauce. He calls him Hot Sauce Man.
Is that the first time
Alex
hot sauce has
loves hot
ever
sauce
been
too.
used to distract an enemy? I was a big fan of it. It was great.
Surely Agent 47's thrown some buffalo
Surely,
sauce
yeah.
somewhere.
Surely there's another.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. It's anyway, it's coming out on August the 23rd, if my notes are correct, and there is going to be a beta as well. So lots to look forward to. I think the beta's in July. So I will be keeping an eye out for that on my PS5. But if you're a PC player, I believe it's also going to be available to you too. Speaking of PC, let's quickly move on to God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. It's the latest in a long line of PlayStation Studios games coming to PC.
PC releases, yeah.
We've been playing them here in the office. We actually got ourselves an ultra-wide monitor, especially so we could play. I think it's actually super ultra-wide mode.
Yeah, when it said that, it's like You know when it always just makes it even emphasis, like even more when it says super. It's like, even when like seeing that.
When you
scene,
see they do the thing.
Yeah, they do the thing, and like that's exactly how my stupid brain just. I'm just like, yes.
Well, someone
that is
came up.
super.
Someone came up with ultra wide and was like, "There we go. Yeah, I've done that." And then someone went, "Wait, we can go wider."
Yeah.
My friend, we're not done with ultra.
We're going super.
I want to go
wider.
super ultra.
Yeah, super.
No, you're mad. That's insane. No, sit down.
And it is like an amazing reason to go back to again. If you have already played God of War Ragnarok, it's an amazing reason to go back. Honestly, like the different, seeing it super ultra wide is fantastic, as we've seen with like Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Forbidden West. So that looked fantastic. Now, the next game caught me off guard. This is a game from a dynasty, actually, a long-running series of which I have never played one, and this got me, like right from the off. I did a sharp intake of breath just at the number of people on screen. It's Dynasty Warriors Origin.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys ever played a Dynasty Warriors game.
Warriors Orochi, which is same kind of sort of franchise as such, and the 1,000. I think do they call it 100 to 1 or 1,000 to 1? There's like a genre sort of term for that kind of like large scale battle when it just feels like the odds are insurmountable. But yeah, I'd like to play. I mean, the idea of Origins makes me think, oh, is this quite a good place to jump in?
Yeah.
But I just thought it looks stunning, like so cinematic. Like riding into battle could bring a tear to your eye in a game like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be well up for giving it a go.
They're so much fun to play. Like I played the recent installment, I think a few years ago, and it was my first time playing. I don't know if it's Dynasty Warriors or Dynasty Warriors. I always said Dynasty, but I could be completely wrong. And
Potato.
Exactly. And like playing it, I was just, oh my god, this is so great just to. Because not only is it like, oh, you're strategizing your attacks and stuff, but also you just get to go in and swing your sword at just hordes of enemies, like loads of them, and it's
just
so
cutting them
satisfying.
down like weeds.
Yeah, and it's so
great
satisfying
feeling.
just to be so powerful and just going like, and then just they're gone. It's so much fun.
Well, I think that is it. It is the kind of power trip, isn't it? I mean, Amy, you mentioned being the idea of getting to be a massive man who could reach your Extractor fan. Like, I want to wade I want to wade into an army of 1,000 people and be just swinging practically a tree trunk and watching 50 of them fling off, which you can do in this game. It looked amazing. But then also, Rosie, as you said, there is a strategy element as well. I really liked. There was just a bit where he was stood behind a bunch of archers and was just like, "Yes," and they all fired.
Just say the word.
Yes, that's right. Everybody, that's where I'd be, just behind the action, just going, "You're all doing great. Keep it up."
He's like, "Fire? Where? No, fire, fire."
But honestly, I think if it really caught me off guard how excited I was. I thought the trailer was fantastic, and it's really caught my attention. It looked really fantastic. I think the last game was 2018 or something.
It would have been. Yeah, it would have been. That makes sense.
It's been like 6 years. So, and it felt like it's been a big PlayStation staple. So I'm excited that it's back. I'm excited to give that a go.
SBHR in the chat says hyped for DW Origins. Seems a bit of a twist from the others. So
interesting.
So that's why I was just like, oh, that is interesting. Considering I've only played one entry, I was like, oh, if you think it's a bit of a twist, that makes it even more intriguing.
Yeah.
Like what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we saw. Now, this game will be interesting for us to talk about. We saw Infinity Nikki, which has been described on the blog as an adventure dress-up game.
About time.
Not a genre I'm familiar with. I've not heard of adventure dress-up before. Have either of you?
No.
Never
but
partaken?
We need more of them.
Never the twain shall meet. No.
Just let me dress up and take pictures and go on an adventure.
Apparently,
we just need more cats and hats on treadmills.
I was going to say, I mean, this gets the Best Cats Award for the night. There was a lot, and it wasn't just a few cats. It was a lot of cats.
Yeah.
If Ash is still watching, I'm sure she would agree. There was a good amount of cat on show. Also, just like, but I mean, the environment was fantastic. There was like a really wonderful bit with like kind of floating islands. I didn't know what to make of this game at all because it was kind of a beautiful sort of, it seemed kind of open world, but then there was a lot of taking pictures of your cat and dressing up. I really don't know what to expect from that game, but it's got my attention. Apparently every outfit you wear has a different kind of power, which will allow you to kind of solve puzzles or make your way through the world.
There was a moment where you could see the character like doing a bit of platforming, like slightly floating, I saw.
Okay.
And there was also a moment where you see the character like on a device and going into this beautiful like sort of like purpley place or something like that.
Sort of like interdimensional. It looked a bit, the platforming elements kind of reminded me of Gravity Rush, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A game I really, really love.
Oh, it's a great game.
So yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. The fashion element of it is cool because let's be real, those looks did slay. Every single one of them did.
Yeah.
And it didn't really feel very action heavy. It did feel more sort of platformery, but like you say, it was also open world, and there was a cutscene at the end that sort of had a bit more threat to it. And I thought, oh, you know, there's that woman who kind of comes out the blue, and you're like, oh.
Well, I was going to say, Harpo Speaks in the chat says, it looked cozy, but then somebody seemed to be being crucified at the end. And it was just a completely different vibe, wasn't it? It was just like this jazzy music, and then just suddenly just this person is just suddenly really dark. And it's just like, what?
That's really got me.
I mean, it's just when you're there, when it's all cozy. It's a meme that no one can relate to. When it's all cozy and then someone's getting crucified.
I'm having a small
weird.
tear at that.
It's late,
That's
Dave.
excellent. I'm gonna. Yeah, it's late. I'm gonna go and watch that. I'm gonna watch that trailer again. That's gonna be my first rewatch trailer after we finish the after party today. I think. So yeah, Infinity Nikki. I mean, a lot of questions to be answered there, and I'm excited to answer them all. But if I am just taking pictures of my cat, that is also absolutely fine by me, to be honest. In a beautiful world. Speaking of beautiful worlds, this next game, I think. Well, we're gonna talk about most exciting reveal of the evening later, but this one came out of nowhere and I think really got us all excited. This is Ballad of Antara.
Yes.
Which looked unbelievable. The fidelity
phenomenal
of the characters of the world looked absolutely unbelievable. The fighting looked on point. I was the creature design was incredible.
The bosses, the scale of some of them, the intricacies of like the design. Absolutely.
I was completely blown away. Really interesting. Like we got some little kind of hints of who you might be or what's going on, like kind of like a father and child thing. Which was lovely.
In my notes, I was just like fighting with child on back. And I really like that angle. But it looks like you could also be an archer.
Well, I was going to say that it seemed like there were other playable characters as well. So I don't know whether you're choosing one of them or whether you might be playing as different people. We just don't know. But it looked amazing. It looked absolutely amazing. I thought that it was just like and completely out of the blue.
Yeah, it has 3-player multiplayer, I think.
It's got 3-player multiplayer.
Yeah.
Oh no way. Okay.
I guess that kind of makes sense as to why there's different
why
roles.
There's different roles.
Yeah. That's pretty wild though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there's so much in that I want to unpack.
Yeah,
I want to watch it again just for like the big enemies that were appearing.
Yeah.
It seemed to have big sort of the From Software dramatic
say,
vibes, the way the voice acting was done and things like that. I was very much like, my God, I feel like the the Tarnished again. Like just the way that they presented it, I was like, oh my gosh.
It sort of gave Lies of P feels as well, like it was quite gothic in
Yeah.
parts. But I definitely think, I mean, those games are notoriously difficult anyway, but there's difficult and then there's doing all of that with a kid on your back.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm here for it.
It did such a good job of just kind of like just touching on a few kind of interesting. It just really set the world up in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
That very first thing where the father and child kind of almost went through like a boss door, you know, into like a sort of alternate reality, and then could suddenly see this like giant, I think it was like a flower, but it was, I don't know, I'm so in for it. And it really, I love, this is my favorite thing about State of Play is when a whole new IP you didn't even know existed, maybe from a developer you didn't even know existed, and they come through with like this trailer that just steals the show.
Comes out of nowhere.
It's looked absolutely fantastic, and 2025 was the date.
Yes.
So, and we're in 2024 now. So, well, that's not long, people. I can wait. I can wait. You good people, do your work on Ballad of Antara. I'll be waiting.
Yeah. I'd love to know if the chat feel the same way, because it really was
absolutely.
one of the highlights.
Yeah,
actually.
we've got Connor Jackson who says the twins also felt very near Automata. Automata or...
I've always said automata.
I always said automata, but I don't
say
think
words
it's right.
wrong.
I think it is automata.
Is it?
I always used to say automata, and I don't mean that sounds like automato, which is just silly.
But a lot of people are also saying, we've had some people say it reminds them of Dark Souls 3 or just Dark Souls in general. D3 Mystic says BOA looks beautiful. So yeah, everyone is getting hyped for this.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear
Good
it.
stuff.
Us too. Next up, we had 2 PSVR2 titles
Yes.
back to back. One of which I am so in for, and one of which I am so
which
out
one.
for. No
Is
way.
that the one that you're not in for?
First up was the one I'm very much in for, which is
Yeah.
Skydance's Behemoth.
Yes.
Or Behemoth.
Behemoth.
But
I think it'll be behemoths.
Behemoth.
It's like you
Yeah.
got big behemoths.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna. I love how this show we've just been like, is this how you say this?
It's definitely
Welcome
Behemoth,
to
but
How You Say
I was
Words.
just making a bit of a rubbish joke, really. But yeah,
Oh, I
it is
apologise. I've
Behemoth.
ruined it.
No, it's fine. And which looked like amazing wish fulfillment, really. If your
Yes.
wish is to just be able to toss a sword around left, right, and centre, realistically. I mean, I say realistically. If you, for someone who is good with swords, and climb actual behemoths.
Yeah.
The
which,
scale. Yeah.
If you'd asked me this morning, I wouldn't have said was actually a wish of mine. But now, having seen what it looks like, it is a wish of mine. I want to do that, please.
Yeah.
And I will do that.
Yeah.
And VR is so good at kind of like conveying that sense of scale anyway.
It's
Like
one of
the
its best.
incredible.
facets.
The first time you see the tall neck
Yeah.
in Call of the Mountain, you are like, oh my God, I am so small.
Yeah.
And that is just so incredibly big, and it shakes the screen. And I think Behemoth will be something that really conveys that feeling of this boss is just titanic. This
Yeah.
creature is colossal, and I am so small. And VR is perfect for that. So
Yeah.
I want more of those tall neck feels for sure.
I
Also,
totally agree.
I was gonna say the combat in the game looks really like intricate and detailed
Yeah.
as well. Like some of the movements they were doing and the way they were interacting with weapons. That was the. I mean, the behemoths were very impressive, but I was like, oh, look at just the motion
Yeah.
of using these weapons.
Absolutely agree with that too, Rosie. I think it's from the developers of Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners,
yeah.
which I actually played a little bit of with Ash because she put me through it. I think during her leaving, was it during her leaving stream or Halloween? I think it was Halloween, and I was scared, but also loved it because they understand so well. I mean, again, this is something that PSVR2 is also really good at. It's amazing at scale. It's amazing at just with the controllers just letting you do what you want. It feels so natural. There's you don't need tutorials and things. You just understand how it works, and that's what I got the sense of from that trailer. Is it seems like in this game, it just makes sense. It's like you understand how a sword works.
Yeah.
It's like pointy end into man, and you understand that you can.
I'm so glad
you
though,
can
because
throw
I've
it
never
and-
really got that.
I'm glad I can
So
help
this
you.
has been
Yeah, no, it was
eye-opening.
vignette, pointy end into man.
Yep.
But like, it's just it just makes sense. I feel like they just
Yeah.
have made a game that just again it just enables that wish fulfillment because you don't have to. It's not buttons and it's just you moving your actual
It's just
hands
fluid,
and
isn't
just
it?
feeling it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And again, we haven't talked enough about climbing the behemoths, but that's a thing you can do. You can climb on a behemoth.
Yeah.
And I assume then put the pointy end of your sword into that as well, unless they're friendly. In which case I'd feel bad.
I mean, it's giving Shadow of the Colossus and how I didn't want to kill. I don't want to kill any of them.
I know.
I don't want to
I
kill
know.
a single one
I
of them.
know.
But I have to say, Dave, I think you're avoiding the other PSVR2
No, that was it. I think
game.
that-
you
and then,
repeated climbing the behemoth.
Alien,
I think.
no.
See, I am with Dave slightly here because I am, to use the Latin, a wimp.
Yeah.
And I saw the Alien because I played Isolation. Obviously, I love it. I never finished it because I am
It's
a wimp.
fantastic.
And I just thought that looked horrific in the
Yeah.
best possible way. If you love horror and you want to, torture yourself emotionally, I
Yeah.
think that's going to be one for you. But I mean, even just from the moment, what's the tracker called in Alien?
Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, the
but-
second you heard the beeping and the
Yeah.
lo-fi sci-fi sound design in that game, immediately I was on edge.
It was
I
like
felt
it was the font,
uncomfortable.
like it was when you could see, like right at the very beginning when you saw just space and then the little fonts came up at the bottom. I was like, "This is Alien! Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And then already you see like the PSVR2, and you're just like, "Oh boy, it's time! Oh my god, it's time!"
They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't. It's too
Oh,
much.
they should have.
We're talking about Alien Rogue Incursion, which was announced tonight for PSVR2, and if there's a world I don't want to be in, it's the Alien world. Like, and I do as well, and that's the thing. Like, I really desperately wanted to play Alien Isolation and found it too scary. I want to play this game, but I honestly, I can't. I can't.
No.
It looked incredible.
Yeah.
The face huggers. You saw a glimpse of the xenomorph.
Like, why a face hugger on your actual face?
Oh my God.
Like, your face is the... no.
Oh no,
God,
I didn't
no.
think about that.
No.
Yes, yeah, they've always been on a screen before, not on my face.
There's been a certain amount of degree of separation between you and the facehugger, but now you're face first into a facehugger.
Yeah.
I'm not cool with that.
No, I'm
Nubian
not
Rose
either.
says, "Oh man, this Halloween is not looking good for Dave."
No.
Well, luckily, I don't think we had a release date for that, so I'll pray it's not by Halloween. It's oh no,
It's holiday 2024, Dave, and you know this.
Holiday. Which holiday though? Christmas. It's a different holiday. We won't know. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to live my life and pretend it's not happening. I'm going to live my life and pretend it's not happening by playing Marvel Rivals, which was very colourful. I thought.
Yeah, I thought this would be a you kind of game. 'Cause you loved Infinity
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. Yes.
Midnight Suns. I did. I absolutely love Midnight Suns. And yeah, this is a good dose of Marvel for us.
Yes.
It's new game from NetEase. I think I don't know the team sizes, but it's PvP.
Yeah.
It's 6v6. Actually, I do know the team sizes. I've just remembered. 6v6, and we saw like a bunch of big popular Marvel characters in there. I mean, but the big takeaway for me was the kind of environmental stuff that was going on. Did you guys kind of spot this? Obviously, there's it's a lot of characters fighting each other, but there was also a lot of interplay with the environment, including kind of like there was a big building that toppled at one point.
Yeah.
There was also some kind of like I don't know, something that was kind of keeping a building that had toppled like up in the air, like some bungee cords. I'm really interested to learn more about that, because I think that will really give this something extra as well, is like how the environment's being used. And ultimately, I mean, when you're dealing with superheroes, that stuff is happening.
Yeah.
You need the environment is generally getting affected as well. So I'd be really interested to see how they've dealt with that in this game.
Really cool thing with Venom, like sort of going along the
yeah.
floor
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, I thought there was some really cool
I really liked
interactions there.
Sorry to interrupt. I was going to say I really liked how they had like the sort of team abilities as well. Like it just seems as if they had like, if you had a character combo, then you could get like a special ability or something from that.
the
So I was
buddying
like,
up.
oh, that's really interesting and cool. So I was like, look at that. It looked
And again, thinking about that, thinking about different characters teaming up, how that might work, some maybe unusual combinations, some combinations you don't expect. I don't know. There's lots of things that might be happening there, which sounds very, very cool. The next... Oh, hang on a minute. There's a closed beta in July.
Yes.
So we will be able to find out a bit more about that in not too long at all. And I can find out what's going on with the environment firsthand. The next title we saw, I thought this looked really interesting as well, was Where Winds Meet.
Yes, which is a title I really like. I really like that.
It's a nice title.
It popped up. I was like,
nice.
yeah, I like that title.
It's
Where
been a
do
long
winds meet?
time since I've smacked anyone with an umbrella.
Okay.
And I like that an umbrella was used as a weapon.
Yeah.
In video games, I should add. Not
I
in
was gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah,
is that something
yeah.
you used to
But
do?
no,
It's been a long time.
every
Finally.
Tuesday. I just liked. I loved in Sekiro where you had the umbrella that you could kind of use as sort of like a deflection and for almost like a shield. And I just feel like it's so elegant and beautiful, that cutscene at the end where you sort of see them meet in the air.
Yeah.
So I just think it looks fluid. It looks graceful. The combat could be really, really cool in
Yeah.
this.
And I don't know what you guys thought. I felt like it was almost a series of certainly 1v1 or boss battles.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super interesting. It seemed like, that really just sold it to me. I was really interested in that. Having seen, we've kind of had a plethora of different approaches tonight with like Dynasty Warriors, where it's like fighting 1,000 people, right down to this with these very intense like one-on-one battles.
Yeah, they said it's like an open world martial arts adventure. So
Okay.
it could be broader or sort of smaller in scale. I guess we'll sort of see as we go.
Yeah. Well, I thought that the kind of bamboo bit you mentioned at the end was very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Those like the way that they're moving in the air. Have you seen that, Rosie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
I was gonna say, like, what is? I haven't seen this.
It's a martial arts movie from the early 2000s, very early 2000s.
Ooh,
Yeah,
maybe.
I love a martial
Yeah.
arts film.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and they had this very distinct style of moving, and I think there's a scene in a kind of bamboo forest that's very reminiscent of that scene in the cutscene at the end of this trailer. So yeah, I'm very in for this.
Yeah.
Again, the fighting looked really fluid and fun, and lots of parrying and timing, and that's what I like about the 1v1 kind of thing. That was it's a standoff, and it's tense, and there's tactics and skill. It's not just kind of mindless swinging of your sword. Not that I would ever do that.
We've got PlayStation Play in the chat who says Umbrella was my favourite weapon in Wolong, which I know Alex is going to probably greatly appreciate.
Alex
and also
loves Wolong.
more Umbrella appreciation
More
there.
umbrella appreciation. In Crisis Core as well, Zach uses an umbrella, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Unappreciated
And
weapon.
in Resident Evil,
Yeah.
umbrella.
We've come round
I
full
was gonna
circle.
say,
Right.
We've done it. We've done it, lads.
We did it.
We broke the game.
Speaking of evil, this was a game that got you guys particularly excited, I thought.
Love this.
I have
Yeah.
played it. Until Dawn.
I
Yes.
love Until Dawn. So this has been a remaster fully in Unreal Engine 5, and it just looks like it looks incredible.
The lighting was
Yeah.
stunning.
It was noticeably lovely.
Different. Yeah, lovely is it kind of gave it that grittier, much more macabre feel. You know, the blood had that extra crimson hue, and the kind of like the moonlight just hit in a slightly more unsettling way than ever before.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, the performances have been locked in because they're featuring major actors. You know,
Yeah.
Rami Malek's in it, playing one of the main characters. But I think they've kind of done a lot with the dialogue and the sound design, and kind of just enhanced it really in every way possible. So if you've never played it before, jumping into it on PS5 and PC would be just, do it. Please do
Also
it.
be
100%.
be cautious of spoilers and things like that, because like this trailer, it was great to watch this trailer because
Yeah.
it relived so many iconic moments from
Yeah.
Until
Yeah,
Dawn. But the whole time I was like, oh my god, this is so good, this is so good, this is so amazing, and it actually got my heart pumping again.
Did.
Like I could
Yeah.
feel the intense moments again.
Yeah.
Even like the two characters, is it Ashley and Sam?
Ash and Chris.
Ash and Chris,
Yeah,
yes,
when
when
he
they're
has to
like in the
decide.
basement and you've got Ash in like covered in blood and stuff. I was like, oh, I remember this bit as well.
I've never managed to keep all of them alive, so maybe this time is the time. I've managed to save everyone bar one.
It's hard to keep
It's
them all
very,
alive.
very hard.
Yeah.
I've only had a very pure experience of the one playthrough. It was like one of the first Let's Plays we ever did on the channel, Nathan and I. So I've only experienced my one story of it. And if anyone would like us to do, maybe this time to revisit it.
Yeah,
Don't know. Let us know.
absolutely, yeah.
Next game we saw was Path of Exile 2. I am not aware of Path of Exile. And I was like, why on earth not? Because I was watching it going, well, this is a game for me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I love this.
Very you coded that.
I thought it looked beautiful, but the gameplay is exactly the sort of thing I love. That kind of asymmetric, slightly Diablo-y. It made me think of kind of like Darksiders Genesis as well, and I just love that kind of thing, kind of dungeon crawling. And I thought it looked absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to immediately go and find out what the deal with Path of Exile is. This is Path of Exile 2. I don't know whether it's new that it has couch co-op, but it mentioned it had couch co-op, and that gets me excited because I love that kind of game as well. And all the crosses, I think we saw cross-play, cross-progression. I just thought it looked fantastic, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So I want to go and explore some dungeons. I think it's got early access later this year, so I'm in for that. But yes, I need to find out more
Prime
about the
time to
first
try
game.
it
Yeah, I was
out.
going to say,
Exactly.
you missed the first one.
Also, this is another big one, but not for me, Silent Hill 2.
Yes, a lot of people in the chat have been talking about Silent Hill 2, and it's one that I'm keeping a very close eye on at the moment.
I mean, I have no, I don't, this is, I have no history with this game. I have no history with the Silent Hill series. I was way too scared to play them. Obviously, I don't know anything about this one. I don't know if this is the one with Pyramid Head in or
It
not.
is.
Okay,
It's
great.
the one that introduces Pyramid
Oh,
Head.
God,
I
okay.
won't say, because Pyramid Head, that's like a whole discussion piece about what Pyramid Head represents and things like that. But this trailer seemed to specifically sort of delve into the character Angela.
Right.
Angela was the character in the white jumper.
Yes.
Who you saw James talking to in the graveyard at the very beginning. And Angela is a very, I won't say a lot, but it's a very troubled character.
Okay.
It's Silent Hill. Everyone's got
no one's doing great in Silent
no one's
Hill.
doing great in Silent Hill land. So we've finally been introduced to a new character. I think in the previous trailers we've seen a lot of James doing bits and bobs, but this was the first introduction, I think, to here's how we've remade another character. And I mean, it's interesting as well. They picked Angela because she is the first person you interact with in like going into Silent Hill and stuff. And also, look, we had a bit more of the just environment. They showed us how the lighting looked really dark and more of the environments and how they've updated them with the remake. A bit more on the combat as well. We've got a dodge mechanic now, which was the first thing I picked up on. Seeing James like dodge away from the nurse slashing down, I was like, whoa, you can dodge now? So that was interesting to me. And also, it seemed to have a very sort of gave me an aggressive Dead Space vibe, where so you saw James doing the massive like stomp, which was before throughout the Silent Hill games. If an enemy's on the floor, you just sort of like give him a kick. But the remake seems to be going for James is getting a bit more aggressive. In
more
this
action
one.
elements,
More
than,
action
than pure
elements.
survival horror.
Yeah. So seeing this remake, it's very interesting to see. What they're doing with the remake compared to the original. So that's why I'm just feeling like I'm talking about, we talked about Angela, this, that, and the other. So I'm definitely going to have like more Silent Hill 2 news coming out. I'm going to be watching it and I'm like, what are you doing? So especially because Silent Hill 2 is like one of the best horror games ever made. It's fantastic. So
that one shot in this trailer where whatever it is, I don't know what it is. Truthfully, I'll sleep at night.
Yeah.
The thing moves across the floor in a I don't know how they've animated that the way they have, but it looked so incredibly unsettling. And it just
anything that moved in that trailer that wasn't a human moved in a horrible way. Everything in there made my skin crawl. It was
contorted
skitter
movement.
is the word for me. A lot of skittering.
There's a lot of that in Silent Hill.
Right.
A lot of enemies just being like
everything skitters.
Oh, it's so good. And the Claymore says, this Silent Hill 2 trailer was much better than the previous one. So it looks like people are getting hyped in the chat as well. The more they're revealing, the more spooky it gets.
Yeah, and I could be wrong about this, but I think they reveal. I mean, I think this is the reveal of the launch date as well, right? Which is October the 8th.
Yes.
Yep.
So just in time for everyone's favourite season.
Halloween.
Yeah, I can't wait. No, I mean it looks absolutely horrible, but in the way that I think people will like.
Yeah.
So
100%.
excited about that. Are you? I don't know. I'm not. Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yes.
Though. Are you either of you Monster Hunter players?
I played on PlayStation 2, actually, the very first iteration
get
of
you.
Monster Hunter.
Right, show off.
And I loved it. And I've played a little bit of what's the most recent one that came? Worlds is the one.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think I do really enjoy it. I always struggle to have the time to get into it because it's such a beautifully big and rewarding game if you have the time to really sink. But yeah, I think just the idea of like going out into the wilderness and hunting these absolutely colossal creatures.
Yeah.
The designs of the creatures never fail to amaze me in Monster Hunter. They always look phenomenal. They always look different. This brand flavour of the month seems to be hairy bear with a big mouth, which I'm not mad at.
I love the big mane ones. The ones with like the big manes. I was like, oh, look like you parried an attack at one point. I was like, oh, leave them alone.
Like a blow-dried bear with a massive mouth. But also the environment, I think, about this one was the thing that really got me. The thunder, the lightning, the weather effects. I feel like that is going to be something that plays into your hunting experience more so than maybe other games do.
Yeah, and they seem to be showing kind of like the same environments, but with different weather. Like it was like at one point it was like a sandy dune.
I was going to say,
then it was more like a tundra.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going to be seeing these environments in different times of year or different seasons. I'm really interested that I wrote down one word underneath this.
Vignette.
It wasn't vignettes. No. And I'm surprised neither of you have mentioned it. It was to do with one of the creatures. Can you guess the word?
Big toad.
Well, I wrote down tongue.
Tongue. I was close.
How are we not talking about that tongue?
Yeah, I love it. I was like, this is a big toad, and you thought tongue.
Yeah, well, it like
licks the camera, doesn't it? And
yeah, it was just like the most horrible, but I couldn't look away. I was like, wow, they've spelled this so detailed, so much slobber.
Yeah,
it was sticky, but also viscous. I don't know. I thought that was amazing, and I also thought that there was kind of a stop motion quality to some of the animation, which I really really liked, and I'm going to go and watch it again to kind of see if I haven't gone mad. But yeah, I thought it looked fantastic, and it really made me sad that I haven't played a Monster Hunter before, because I just thought, why haven't I done it because you can just see how much there is to enjoy, and like you said, these are amazing creature design, amazing environments, and then it's so much about kind of emergent gameplay and playing. There's lots of different ways to do things, and notorious for kind of random encounter, just like things coming together that you haven't planned for and having to imagine a way out of this on the fly. It's just very creative game, and I thought it was a really fantastic trailer, so I'm excited.
I think
for that.
you'd really like the strategy element of it, like you say, planning for a hunt,
right.
Equipping, thinking about the things that you're going to need, how you're going to bring these creatures down. Every single one of them is different. They're going to have different weak spots, different habitats. I think that's something that I really enjoyed about Monster Hunter.
We've got there, everybody.
Hey.
We've got to the close of the show, and I honestly, I'm just throwing my notes away. I was absolutely blown away by this Astrobot.
Oh my god!
His name's Astrobot.
It's so bloomin' good. How are Team Asobi so fantastic?
It's his first proper full outing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. This is going to be his first whole game, unless you think about Astrobot Rescue Mission on PSVR, which though seems like the bosses are going to be involved in Astrobot. We saw a lot of those bosses from that game.
I have so much to
I mean,
talk about. I was like, oh my god, the PSVR, the bosses are coming back. There's new bosses coming in as well.
There is so much to talk about. I really don't know where to start with it, and I think I should just throw it open to everybody, because it's just I really hope everybody feels as warmly about Astrobot as we do. I think it's so great that every PS5 comes with Astro's Playroom. Because if you haven't played with Astrobot before, you get to, and that is such a kind of jewel in the crown for me. Just the pure joy of the character, the unbelievable understanding that Team Asobi have of the hardware and how to use it, and how inventive they can be.
They've got more inventive with it as well. There was like there's so many new abilities they've got. They've got like these sort of frog punching gloves that seem to what's it called when they go forward?
Extend.
Yep. They extend. You've had like the jetpack sort of board
the
thing.
little spongy
Astro.
Astro.
Which is fantastic. I want an Astro sponge.
We have an Astro plush.
Right, next.
I don't know how absorbent it is.
No,
but
we can find out after this. Yeah.
But who's on top of the Astro plush?
Parappa.
So the noise.
It was a lot like that.
Dave will back me up. The noise that Rosie made when we saw Parappa Astrobot.
Oh my god! I went. I'll do it a bit above the mic, but I was like Parappa, and then I stopped myself because it just involuntarily just blurted out.
It really sounded like a Velociraptor getting put through a blender. It was just like it was very intense.
Oh, you know me. Whenever anything celebrates like the history of PlayStation, and especially with the PS1, PS2 era, I scream.
Yeah.
And Parappa is he's my boy.
Well, that was one of the wonderful things about it. Like, one of the great things about Astro's Playroom is its love for PlayStation, and just the reverence for it, and there's you can just go and look at all the PlayStation hardware and just kind of and stand on it and climb on it and kind of have fun with it. And I'm so glad that is a part of this game as well. Like it's not just Astrobot, the character we love, going on an adventure. It's like it's PlayStation going on an adventure. It's have so much reverence for all different IP, and we were doing that thing where you were getting to see those characters and go, oh, Eco,
Jay,
oh, Nathan Drake, and then obviously Parappa came on, and it was a game changer.
Best game ever coming out.
But I just think it's like I don't know. It's like our as in PlayStation fans kind of Avengers moment, all of those IPs coming together. I love it so much. I can't wait to see how Astro is interacting with those characters, because in Astro's Playroom, it was much more like you would go and find little vignettes, wouldn't you? And you'd see them just like, but this seemed like he had the Leviathan axe at one point. So he's going to be interacting with these characters in ways I don't know what yet. Even if they're just little vignettes, I'm excited for it, because I'm just so excited for it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so unbelievably excited. It looks like as well the worlds are like they've done so much visually with the worlds that Astro's going to be exploring. So it's going to be like 80 levels across 6 galaxies from what I've heard, which is just feed me. Just put it on a plate of a full 80-course dinner on 6 plates, and I will consume all of it. Like, I am
bosses as
so
well.
excited for this. You have no idea.
I mean, the bosses look huge as
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
well, the
Like,
bosses are
the
on
stages.
PSVR.
Yeah,
in
there's a
Astrobot
lot of
Rescue.
crossover, isn't there?
Yeah, so in
Yeah.
Astrobot Rescue Mission, they were already huge, and I was so happy to see them make a return and a comeback as well. And then, like I said as well, they've also got new bosses. There was like a genie type that popped up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just so unbelievably excited for this game. Like, just more platforming goodness, more Astrobot goodness, more PlayStation goodness. Just like I said, just feed it to me on this delicious buffet of goodness.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me too. I just everything about it feels right, and I can't wait. And I do need to look at my notes because there was a date. There's a date.
Yeah.
There is as well.
September the 6th.
September, which isn't that long.
It's really not that long. It's like
Yeah.
3 months or something. I don't know. I can't do maths. June, July, August. Like 3 and then 6 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm really surprised about that because I thought watching that trailer, I thought it was probably going to be like 2025. And it's
Yeah.
not. It's September. It's 3 months. Like
Yeah.
that's no time at all.
No time at all.
And that is how I will battle when you guys are trying to get me to play Alien Rogue Incursion or whatever. I'll be like, no, Astro, save me.
Save me, please. I have to say as well, Liam Hardy in the chat says also the music is an absolute jam, and it
Yeah,
was.
so
the
true.
music was so
Amazing,
phenomenal
yeah.
in it as well. Already, we've only
Yeah.
heard like that one track, and it's just
You
like,
just know there's going to be banger after banger.
Yeah,
it's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
like,
so
now
good.
that's what I call Astro.
yeah, that's what I call Astrobot.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, even in Playroom, like, I mean, obviously the GPU song is a certified banger.
Yeah.
But me and you can't even talk about, like, we'll hand each other an SSD and we can't even not do the
Yes.
SSD.
We
You
did
got
it
it.
today when we had our little
Yeah.
outing. With everyone.
It's the rule.
SSD.
It's the rule. Well, I thought it was an absolutely fantastic state of play.
Yeah, I was really
I
chuffed
was
with it.
honestly, and going, but it's been lovely to go back through with you guys now, just because I've realised how stoked I am on everything. For me, Astro stole the show, but yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for everything. I want to ask you guys very quickly your game of the show, Rosie.
Astro.
Okay, that
Astrobot.
was quick and easy. Your game of the show,
Probably
Amy.
would be Astro 2, to be fair. But if I had to pick another one, I think it would be the one that we were talking about. And
Ballad of
I will have to check-
Antara.
Yeah.
I think that's.
wondering
Did
if
I
I was
say
going
that
to say
right?
the...
Yeah, Ballad of Antara.
Antara. I wasn't sure if I was going to say
Rosie,
the name of the place right.
if you had to pick a second choice.
Oh, if I had to pick a second choice, probably, because I'm very excited for this, the Alien VR.
Oh my God, Alien Rogue Incursion.
Because you're going to go in it
What
and
is wrong with you?
you're going to be terrified.
I don't want to be
That's exactly what
terrified.
the purpose of it
Are you
is.
going to play it by yourself? Are you going to...
No, I'm going to play it with someone. I
Okay.
played Alien Isolation with my mate Liam, so
Right,
I'm probably
okay.
going to be like, Liam,
Hi,
let's play
Liam.
this together. Hi, Liam, we're going to play it together. And then I'd say like Silent Hill 2. But like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Silent Hill 2 is such a special horror game. It's like I'm still keeping an eye on it. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, well, you've
Yeah.
got to keep an eye on it. It's like a
Yeah.
spider. Don't turn your back on it, because
No.
that's when it disappears and you don't
Maintain
know
eye
where it is,
contact
and then
at
it'll
all
jump
times.
out on you.
Yep.
So there you go. That was State of Play, the after party, the official PlayStation Access after party. Thank you so much, Rosie, for joining us. Thank you so much, Amy, for being here. I hope you. I can't speak, Amy. I hope you've had a nice time.
I have. It's been amazing. Thank you so
we
much.
really appreciate you being here and having a chat with us.
Yeah. Oh, it's been good.
Although I am angry at you guys for not
Not
telling me
including
about
you
the jackets.
in the costume. The wardrobe
No.
malfunctions. Yes.
Yeah, I look unprepared,
cozy.
very ill prepared. Hopefully everybody in the chat had a lovely evening. You enjoyed the State of Play. We will be reading your comments if Rosie hasn't already read most of them.
There's been so many. Thank you all so much for chatting your hype. I've been reading through them, and loads of people are saying Monster Hunter Wilds as well for their game coming up and stuff. It's
Yeah.
been so wonderful to read all
Yeah.
of your hype, and I've been trying to read them when I can.
Please do, if you're watching the VOD or this stream's about to end, leave a comment to let us know which game stole the show for you. And if it wasn't Astrobot, I think you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror, because Astrobot is clearly the winner.
I
But
want to
no,
hear from all the people who are going to be playing Alien
Oh,
on day
God.
one.
Oh my God! Honestly, I think you guys need to be studied. What's
Yeah.
going on with you there? But yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much for sticking with us, especially if you're in the UK or maybe Europe, where it's very, very late and we are very, very tired. But it was absolutely worth it. We're flying on adrenaline now after some amazing reveals this evening. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Domino. Thank you to Alex, our wonderful moderators who are taking care of you all this evening. I hope you've had a nice time. All that's left for us to do is to say we'll speak to you soon. Make sure you like and subscribe and keep checking back on PlayStation Access. And until we see you next time, have a lovely evening. And it's a goodbye from me. It's a goodbye from Rosie.
Remember, Parappa the Rapper was mentioned in the State of Play.
And it's a goodbye from Amy.
Bye.
Bye.